Hi, welcome back to my channel. Hope you guys are doing well. We are on lesson 138 of A Course in Miracles workbook. Hope you guys are hanging in there. These lessons have been quite intense, but intense in a good way. And let's just keep powering through, right? We're all in this together. We want to just live in the truth. We do not want to be living in these illusions. It's this illusory world is just not, it doesn't have anything to give us. And the erratic emotional investment we have, the highs and the lows of everything going on, when at the end of the day, it's totally unfulfilling. Even the highs are unfulfilling. I mean, it's momentary. So, all right. Lesson 138, heaven is the decision I must make. In this world, heaven is a choice because here we believe there are alternatives to choose between. We think that all things have an opposite, and what we want, we choose. If heaven exists, there must be hell as well. For contradiction is the way we make what we perceive and what we think is real. Creation knows no opposite, but here is opposition part of being real. It is this strange perception of the truth that makes the choice of heaven seem to be the same as the relinquishment of hell. It is not really thus. Yet what is true in God's creation cannot enter here until it is reflected in some form the world can understand. Truth cannot come where it can only be perceived with fear. For this would be the error truth can be brought to illusions. Opposition makes the truth unwelcome and it cannot come. Choice is the obvious escape from what appears as opposites. Decision lets one of conflicting goals become the aim of effort and expenditure of time. Without decision, time is but a waste and effort dissipated. It is spent for nothing in return and time goes by without results. There is no sense of gain for nothing is accomplished, nothing learned. I mean, I think Jesus, what he's really emphasizing is there is no opposite because the truth is true. So you can't even introduce like good, bad, heaven versus hell. The truth is only one choice, one result, one effect, oneness. And that is heaven. Because we're still grappling with the chaos and the chicken scratch that's written on, in our minds, on our minds, of stuff from the past and things that we're worrying about in the future and the things we feel like we're dealing with in the now. Get rid of all of that. And the only thing that remains, that never went anywhere, it was always there, is the kingdom of heaven, the truth. So it's not, I think Jesus is saying there's really no choice. But while we're still grappling with the mind of what we know is past, future, present problems, memories, things that we've just kind of collected along the way, these like trinkets of nothingness. Once we can fully realize and get back to the blank canvas and really just clean all of that out, like clearing out like the gutter or whatever, then the only thing that is in existence that's always been there is the truth. Mind bender, yes. I mean, even though sometimes I think I get it, then all of a sudden I'm like, no, wait, do I get this? Let's keep going. You need to be reminded that you think 1,000 choices are confronting you when there's really only one to make. And even this but seems to be a choice. Do not confuse yourself with all the doubts that myriad decisions would induce. you make but one, and when that one is made, you will perceive it was no choice at all. For truth is true, and nothing else is true. There is no opposite to choose instead. There is no contradiction to the truth. Choosing depends on learning, and the truth cannot be learned, but only recognized. In recognition, its acceptance lies, and as it is accepted, it is known. But knowledge is beyond the goals we seek to teach within the framework of this course. Let me reread that. But knowledge, in recognition, its acceptance lies, and as it is accepted, it is known. But knowledge is beyond the goals we seek to teach within the framework of this course. Ours are teaching goals to be attained through learning how to reach them, what they are and what they offer you. Decisions are the outcome of your learning, for they rest on what you have accepted as the truth of what you are and what your needs must be. It's crazy because I feel like Jesus takes us down this very deep, complex menagerie of these like ideas, when then all of a sudden he takes us right back out saying, but there's no menagerie. It's not a kaleidoscope. It's just one. Atonement, at one-ment. Connection, all one. Light is one beam of light. Oneness, truthness, it's just the awareness behind what we consider to be real. Go behind it, go beyond it, but just don't be in the jar. Be outside of the jar. Seeing all of the confusing, illusory stuff in the jar, be outside of the jar. You can be in front of it, on the side of it, behind it, but it is going beyond it depending on which way you're looking at the jar. It doesn't really matter. It's just being outside of it. And that is the awareness. That is the consciousness. That is Holy Spirit. In this insanely complicated world, heaven appears to take the form of choice rather than merely being what it is. Of all the choices you have tried to make, this is the simplest, most definitive, and prototype of all the rest. The one which settles all decisions. If you could decide the rest, this one remains unsolved. But when you solve this one, the others are resolved with it. For all decisions but conceal this one by taking different forms. Here's the final and the only choice in which is truth, accepted or denied. So we begin today considering the choice that time was made to help us make. So Jesus is also saying this is the purpose of time, is to allow us the room to figure this all out. But that is really the only usefulness of time. Because when you're an eternal being, there is no time. There's no linear time. But here in this incarnation, you want to repurpose everything for to get to the understanding and the awareness of everything that we're doing. And that's where time can be of benefit. So is its holy purpose now transformed from the intent you gave it, that it be a means for demonstrating hell is real, hope changes to despair, and life must, in the end, be overcome by death. In death alone are opposites resolved. For ending opposition is to die, and thus salvation must be seen as death, for life is seen as conflict. To resolve the conflict is to end your life as well. These mad beliefs can gain unconscious hold of great intensity and grip the mind with terror and anxiety so strong that it will not relinquish its ideas about its own protection. It must be saved from salvation, threatened to be safe, and magically armored against truth. And these decisions are made unaware to keep them safely undisturbed, apart from question and from reason and from doubt. Heaven is chosen consciously. The choice cannot be made until alternatives are accurately seen and understood. All that is veiled in shadows must be raised to understanding, to be judged again, this time with heaven's help. And all mistakes in judgment that the mind had made before are open to correct. And all mistakes in judgment that the mind had made before are open to correction, as the truth dismisses them as causeless. Now are they without effects. They cannot be concealed because their nothingness is recognized. I mean, okay, tongue twister, riddle, mind bender. If illusion is nothingness, and you become aware of its nothingness, then everything just disappears. And all that is left is truth. And that is sitting in the awareness. It's just a different energy than the life that you're living right now, which the energy is always moving, changing, up, down, happy, sad. And it's nothingness. It's nothing. The conscious choice of heaven is as sure as is the ending of the fear of hell, when it is raised from its protective shield of unawareness and is brought to light. This is when we're starting to really get released from the prison, when you can just bring it up to the light where it could just disappear. Once the light hits it, it's gone. No more hell. Heaven is there. It's always been there. Who can decide between the clearly seen and the unrecognized? Yet who can fail to make a choice between alternatives when only one is seen as valuable, the other as a wholly worthless thing, but imagined source of guilt and pain? Who hesitates to make a choice like this? And shall we hesitate to choose today? We make the choice for heaven as we wake, and spend 5 minutes making sure that we have made the one decision that is sane. We recognize we make a conscious choice between what has existence and what has nothing but an appearance of the truth. That's what he's saying. He's saying, don't be fooled because our reality inside the jar looks like it's the truth. It can really, really confuse us, but it's not. And people think, well, I have to live my life. Yeah, but you can live the real life outside of the jar, which is it's a way more beautiful, easier, at flow, loving energy, because it is truth, where nothing can affect you. That is living. We think inside the jar is where life is, the cars and the highs and the dopamine hits of things that we love, whether it's sex or money or wins or, competitive sports, whatever it is. But it's a drag. We get dragged through the mud with all these highs and lows. That's why we're exhausted. Because even when we think we finally achieved what we thought would make us happy, we find ourselves going, oh, that lasted for a minute. Now I'm wanting more again. And it gets a little tiresome and unsatisfying. It's very dissatisfying. Come out of the jar and get a taste of what true living is in the real world of this kingdom of the heaven on earth. And then it's a whole new ball game from that place. I'll read this again. We recognize we make a conscious choice between what has existence and what has nothing but an appearance of the truth. Its pseudo being brought to what is real is flimsy and transparent in the light. It holds no terror now, for what was made enormous, vengeful, pitiless with hate, demands obscurity for fear to be invested there. Now it is recognized as but a foolish, trivial mistake. It sounds so heavy, and then Jesus is but it's not that heavy. What's going on in the jar is not that heavy. And just because you believed in what's in the jar, that life that we were living, what we consider reality, so what? It's a mistake. You're not going to be punished and damned to hell for not living your best life. It's a mistake. and can be easily corrected. Smooth as butter. Before we close our eyes and sleep tonight, we reaffirm the choice that we have made each hour in between. And now we give the last 5 minutes of our waking day to the decision with which we awoke. As every hour passed, we have declared our choice again, in a brief, quiet time devoted to maintaining sanity. And finally, we close the day with this, acknowledging we chose but what we want. Heaven is the decision I must make. I make it now and will not change my mind because it is the only thing I want. Lesson 138. Heaven is the decision I must make. Do your best to constantly be aware that heaven is the decision that I want to make. I'm choosing heaven over the shit in the glass, in the jar. Heaven is a decision I must make. Lesson 138. Thank you so much for joining me today. Course in Miracles, my truth seekers. I love you. God bless you. Till tomorrow's lesson. Take care.